Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, first I want to thank my colleagues from all sides of the House for giving me this opportunity to speak today. Well, I do plan to stick around a little while longer. The uncertainties that we're facing as a nation, and indeed within this House, means that this could be the last chance I have to physically stand in this House to say farewell. Now, I also warn you, Mr. Speaker, that I plan to be uncharacteristically nonpartisan in my remarks today. Because quite frankly, for me, it's not about the politics here. It's about the people. You know, whenever I'm asked, what's it like to be an MP? I always reply one thing. It's the most challenging, demanding, frustrating, worthwhile thing that I've ever done. And, you know, there have been a lot of times over the last 16 years where there are ups and downs. I've lost a lot. I lost my husband, my father, my vision temporarily, my appendix, and my dear neurotic cat. But I also gained more than I ever could have imagined. Amazing experiences across Canada that only deepened my love for this great country. Friendships that will last a lifetime, an undying respect for this institution and for those who serve in it, and a pair of platinum or titanium hips. Now, for some, becoming an MP isn't something that they always plan to do. Sometimes it's the issues of the day that really push someone to serve. And while the issues and events in 2004 were definitely the tipping point for me, my desire to help those in my community started many years earlier. When I was about 9 years old, my mother sat me down on the eve of an election to tell me what democracy was, how important it is, and how very lucky we are to have it. I remember that conversation vividly, and I can tell you that from then on, I dreamed of having the opportunity to fight for the people at home. So to everyone in Haldimand, Norfolk, I can't thank you enough for making the dreams of that little 9-year-old girl come true. Now, I have to say that it's been a heck of a ride since 2004. From being named agriculture critic during the BSE crisis, serving in Prime Minister Stephen Harper's cabinet for all 10 years, to being named the Conservative Caucus Party liaison and a member of the National Security and Intelligence Committee of Parliamentarians. Every position has come with its own challenges and memories that I treasure. Some of those include creating the universal child care benefit, promoting and delivering the Tobacco Transition Support Program, imposing measures to protect potential human trafficking victims here in Canada, stick-handling numerous infrastructure projects for Haldimand and Norfolk counties through the bureaucracy, breaking down barriers faced by persons with disabilities, and finally retiring and replacing the aging Sea-King helicopter fleet with the new Cyclones. But through it all, I've truly been blessed to have amazing people by my side. People who have challenged me to do my best, who have stuck with me through the high times and the low, and who even laugh at my sometimes warped sense of humor, and on a somewhat daily basis. And while I may have been labeled the toughest bird in cabinet at one point, I'm a firm believer that if you can't laugh at yourself, you're just not funny enough. Now, from the very beginning, my parents were my biggest champions. During many elections, my dad would knock on the doors with me, and my mom was always working in the campaign office. Thankfully, I still have my mother today. And Mom, I know you'll be watching this. Thank you. I love you. And of course, I also couldn't have done any of this without my late husband, Senator Doug Findlay. Many people knew him as the man who always had a Plan F, who was a staunch defender of free speech, and who, of course, led the Conservative Party to victory in 2006 and 2008 as the national campaign director, and played a leading role in the 2011 election that resulted in a strong, stable, national Conservative majority government. But he was also one of my biggest supporters, both professionally and personally. And you know what, Mr. Speaker? As far as we can tell, we were the first married couple to sit in both houses of the Canadian Parliament at the same time. And Mr. Speaker, I'd like to thank those in my life who've made it possible for me to still be here today. In no particular order, thank you to Marlene and Tom Stackhouse, Charlene, George Santos, Howard Good, Wally and Jan Butts, Jeremy and Chelsea McEntee, Frank Parker, Carly Whittet, the amazing Allie, and the Johns in my life, Neuenhouse, Werstein, Bracken, and Weisenberger. To those who made my life easier every day, Denis, Jojo, Anne, Jimmy, Mike Fraser, Michu, and the indomitable Lynette, you have my heartfelt thanks. To my former cabinet colleagues, Jerry, Rob, Lisa, Bev, and Carol, and to Senator Plett, Ian and Vita, Karen Kinsley, Ali Q, Coolsey, Spyro, and Dustin, I'm so grateful that we're still in touch. To my former deputy ministers, Dick, Ian, and Janice, thank you for your patience and wisdom. And to my favorite former Prime Minister, thank you for the trust that you kept placing in me, and placing, and placing, and placing. To my current colleagues, Karen and Raquel and John N., it's a great relief to know that you're taking on my pet projects going forward. And of course, I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for the thousands of volunteers and donors over the years who generously supported me and my efforts. Thank you. To my Conservative family, it's been an absolute pleasure getting to know all of you and working hard with you to help Canadians. You know, Mr. Speaker, it's the values that have kept me blue through and through. The values of hard work, showing respect for other people, looking after your family, smaller government, and lower taxes. And that's why I'm so excited for the future of the Conservative Party under our new leader and for what my colleagues will continue to do for Canadians. Most importantly, to the residents of Haldimand, Norfolk, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I know that I'm not at all biased when I say that Haldimand, Norfolk truly is the best place to grow up and live in. And as part of Ontario's South Coast, yes, Mr. Speaker, Canada's Fourth Coast, we have some of the most hardworking, friendly, salt-of-the-earth people. People who know what it means to pull up their socks to get a job done or to help a neighbor. And it's been an absolute privilege to be the MP for these amazing people. Now, Mr. Speaker, it's time for me to turn a new page. It's time to hit the refresh button. It will soon be time for me to indulge my creative side, to travel, hopefully, take some courses, and finally get to my want-to-do list. I'm looking forward to this new chapter of my life and what it will bring. And to all those young people out there with a dream like I had, I urge you to go after it, chase it, pursue it, live it. It might not be easy, but I assure you, it's worth it. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to close today with a quote from the hero of that little 9-year-old girl that I used to be, Winnie the Pooh, who said, "How lucky I am to have something that makes saying goodbye so hard." Thank you, Mr. Speaker.